One of the things that I've heard a lot of people express is that in some ways, this moment was inevitable. It just was in that, how much more, particularly if you look at what's happened in the African American community, communities in color in general have gotten hit harder by this virus, both economically and on health outcomes. Then you throw this on top of it. It's sort of like, what did we expect? I've heard some people say.
Well, right after President Obama, after the death of Eric Gardner, President Obama convened a 21st century policing task force. The purpose of it was to bring community groups such as Voto Latino. We brought together law enforcement, we brought in government, we brought in business, and the idea was, how do you actually solve this idea of police brutality? How do you retrain the policing task force so that it's more based on community? So that there is this idea that instead of bringing people in from the outside, as the governor was saying, actually having people who are rooted in the community to do the policing and making sure that they are not using police brutality. Right now, we have President Trump wringing his fingers, trying to figure out what he should be doing. Chuck, one of the first things that President Trump did to the DOJ was scrap that community building program that addresses police brutality to ensure that there's a partnership. We need right now leadership that recognizes that there are some bad apples in the police department, but that there also are solutions. Just like he basically is wringing his hands trying to figure out how to address the pandemic, when Secretary Rice has shared that she left a 38-page document on how to deal with the pandemic, people have been left with actual blueprints in the White House, and instead they basically absolve themselves of responsibility instead of taking that leadership that the country needs right now.
All right, I'm going to pause the conversation there. When we come back, the coronavirus, where it's been and where it's heading.